Hey everybody, it's time for another episode of Out of the Wilderness with Keith and Perry.
And it's still Keith. I'm still Perry. Welcome aboard.
Last time we checked.
Yeah, still there. It's nice to be with you again. The 5th of July here in our little area.
And we hope everybody had a blessed 4th.
Yeah.
Safe.
All your fingers, still have all your fingers, toes, and elbows.
And your toenails and fingernails.
Teeth, if you know, from lighting them in there like we did when we were kids, those little bitty, they could finger things.
Lady fingers.
Yeah. Crazy little things showing off, so it could have blew our lips off. You know.
Right.
Yeah, it's a nice day here. Sun's out. It's cool. It's going to warm up before the day's over. It's about 70 degrees here in Marysville, Washington.
It's a beautiful day.
So beautiful day.
This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice
and be
warm and glad in it.
Yeah. It's an interesting time of the year. You know, I listened to a young man that I know, a young online pastor that I know, was talking about, you know, when with the Constitution and when it was formed with the 13 colonies, you know, way back, and the importance of those things, and then how today they've turned everything's such a political unrest that you know, it doesn't seem like it's any of those things are worth anything anymore.
Right.
You know, where'd the parades go? You know, to celebrate. There's a few around. I guess.
Well, there was a parade yesterday that they got shot up in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, 5 people died or something like that.
Satan is alive and well in this world today, because that is flat out evil.
Oh, absolutely. You know, but it's sad, but that goes on every weekend in Chicago.
Yes, this is true.
Seattle, Washington, Tacoma, Washington,
LA,
Olympia,
Louisiana,
Portland, Oregon. You know, all of those. You know, your bigger towns.
All those big Democrat-run cities, full of death.
Yep.
Full of death.
Yep. Yeah. But how do we deal with all of that? You know, we talk about that, you know, chit-chatting like this on a regular basis, man. It's hard to give any advice. You know, I think about this a lot. You know, we were talking about some of this earlier. You know, I look back and look around and go, who am I to tell or suggest to you how you should run your life?
Right. Well, I myself, I carry a gun. I carry a gun. Why? Because a cop is too heavy. Yeah. All right, there you go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, Perry's blowing it.
I don't know if it's turned down. But well, here's what we'll do.
Yeah, just set it over there, keep it off your lap, then you won't hit it.
It's all the motion got it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know, it's funny. You talked about the Constitution. The Constitution, I believe this country was founded on divine providence.
I agree with you.
And the Constitution, when it was written, it was designed not to tell you or I what we can and cannot do, or you what you can and can't do. It's meaning to tell the government what they can and cannot do to us.
And that was the original, or at least one of the original meanings.
That was the original,
So the government couldn't take over, or the civilian didn't allow the government to take over.
Yeah, because where the people fear the government, there is tyranny. Where the government fears the people, there is liberty.
Absolutely. And those of us that are old enough there's tons of us old enough to remember that and to know those things. But then again, you look at a lot of the other people around us, and it's stuff adults never really even heard it in school.
No.
You know, didn't get, or just a pinch because of the parade and fireworks and, you know, in the sky and all those types of things. Hardly have any kind of idea of what the meaning of all of freedom is. You know,
people, I mean, the younger generations of today have no idea what true liberty means.
Well, they've not grown up with any of it.
No.
You know,
and they lose more and more of it every day, and a lot of them are willing to give it up.
Oh, absolutely, and that's done every day of the week.
I mean,
You know,
Ben
and this
Franklin's,
isn't just dumb, stupid, crazy people either. I mean,
No,
we're
they're
not
smart.
talking a bunch of nuts that,
Yeah.
uh, you know, that are willing to give up
They're
certain amount of
they're
security
smart
for
kids.
safety.
Well, Ben Franklin
Uh,
said, "He who gives up liberties for an illusion of freedom deserves neither." And he's right.
Yeah.
We should always keep our freedoms, no matter what. Um, I mean, like take the First Amendment, for instance. You know, um, somebody, I may not like something that somebody goes out there and says in public, but I will fight for them to be able to say that because that's liberty.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
freedom.
And that's the same liberty. That's the same right that God has given us. That's why it was based on that, you know, our God-given right. Because you don't have to believe in God if you don't want to. Saddens God, but,
Right.
but He's not going to lay
But just
awake at night all for eternity waiting for you to change your mind.
No, but he will stand just next to you, waiting for you to reach out for him.
Oh, absolutely.
But make no mistake, the devil does believe in you.
Absolutely, because the devil believes in God. Yeah.
You bet he does.
And he knows God better than any of us down here.
Yeah, he was his right-hand man for a long time.
A long time, yeah. But but it's important. I hope again, just for sake of uplifting a little bit, that you all had a good 4th of July. I hope you ate lots of brocks and burgers and wieners and salad and all that.
I was
good
by
stuff.
myself yesterday for the most part of the day,
Yeah.
but you know what? I enjoyed freedom to do what I wanted. Yesterday, I watched what I wanted. I walked outside. I mean, it was cloudy and rainy where I was at, so, but it's pretty typical for up there in the Mount Vernon, Anacortes area for it to be cloudy and rainy every July 4th. It has been for decades.
Oh yeah. So, what's a wet hot dog bun? It's not a big deal.
Right.
You make it wet when you slide it through the baked beans. What's a little water?
Right.
It's a little rain.
Yeah, that's about it.
But as of this morning, I haven't heard anything about any major firework accidents.
No.
Houses
No
burned
fires
down.
or anything,
no fires.
Yeah.
No
And
fingers
that's a
blown
blessing.
off. Oh, absolutely. And I was surprised too. The actual noise where I live, my little trailer, the noise actually quieted down. I don't know, 11 o'clock. It just, and all last week they went till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you know what's
They must
funny?
have run out.
You know what's funny is I didn't hear anything on the days leading up to the 4th, but last night they went till about midnight, and that was it.
Yeah.
So people are, I mean, they're getting more respectful. People are, I think, are getting more respectful for other people's animals and things like that, because animals really get freaked out on the 4th.
Even Tinkerbell was a little upset when one of them big M16
them
goes
big
off,
ones, yeah.
boom,
Ooh.
shakes the trailer, and she jump up and run, hide under the couch in the front.
Poor animals. I feel bad for them.
That's the first time I've ever seen her do that, though. She's not hid before. She'd
Yeah.
get up close to me, but
She's getting a little older now too. She's like,
she'll sit there and stare at the vent that's over,
Right.
over the bed.
Yeah.
But again, too, I think a lot of people are just, the younger generation are just losing interest because we're being taught
they're being taught that America's a bad country. And make no mistake,
this is not
America
important.
has done more to promote freedom, independence, and liberty in this world than any other country. And most people say, well, it was because of slavery. America, again, has done more than any other country to abolish slavery on this world, on this planet, than any other country, and that's the truth. It is a fact. And those of you that are old enough to remember the actual history we were taught know this. I'm a history buff, so I do a lot of research. And using Google is kind of difficult because, well, Google doesn't want you to know the truth. So
In most cases, that's very true. That's very true. But it's still important, though, that we. I don't know. I'm not quite as chatty today as normal, but there's when you. It was always when I was a kid, and again, a lot of you are way younger than I, obviously. we look forward to the neighborhood would have a parade, and
Right.
get the red wagon out, put your sister in it, and pull them down the street.
Mm-hmm.
One
Have
of the
them waving
neighbors would
little
have
flags
their,
and stuff.
have the
Yeah.
neighbor, one of the neighbors down the street would have their dog in a leash, or on a leash, and then we'd have our own parades, and then the neighborhood would get together with food and potluck and
The good old days.
yeah, and those that played a little music would go out and sit on the side of the lane
Right.
and call it a block party and play,
Block
bars.
parties. I sure miss those too.
Man, they were great. Do a little
Whoa.
dancing and do a little talking and having and singing and having a good time. Now,
Mhm.
like you say, you go to a block party, it's just so you can stack them up on a block after you shot them. It's
Right.
It's
Stack them up like firewood.
Yeah, and it's so sad.
It is. It's really sad.
But how do you convince others? And see, I deal with this because I am 80s front door, not back door anymore. For people 20, 30 years younger than I, how can I convince you of some really major things coming down the pike that are going to happen whether we like it, or not? Because
Right.
I look at me when I was 30 years younger, I didn't listen to anybody either.
Well, when I was 30 years younger, 20 years younger, I was a huge conspiracy theorist. So I finally took the foil hat off because I noticed there was pizza sauce on it.
Yeah, well, I still wear mine sometimes.
Yeah, I know I do too.
But still, if you're a Bible buff, which I personally am,
Mm-hmm.
and it's interesting for me to see those things that are coming true today that couldn't have come true 10
Right,
years ago,
right.
30 years ago.
Well, yeah, like you
We
got
didn't
Second
have
Timothy, you've got Revelation, you've got First John.
John,
A lot of books talk about exactly what's going. I mean, the one that blows my mind the most is Second Timothy. Chapter 3 describes today to the letter. To the letter. You read that and you look around and you're like, wow, were these guys prophets? Well, yes. Yes, they were.
yeah.
They prophesied when they wrote those books
Oh, yeah.
because there's no other way it could have been.
And then, like the point made earlier, and it really doesn't matter whether we agree with, believe it, agree with it. It's going to happen the way it said it's going to happen.
Right.
You know?
Especially Revelation.
Yeah. And,
And it's very cryptic.
very
Very cryptic.
And it's not really
Where Second Timothy is not. It's
just-
pretty
just
straightforward.
point blank. But even Revelation, I of course, I do a lot more of it now, but it isn't as hard to understand as it first seems if you.
No, the more you read it, the more it becomes clear.
Well, yeah, you get what's the word?
The parables?
The
Oh.
prospect. It's how you view. The first 3 chapters tell you one thing, and then from 3, 4 to I think through 11 is to the church,
Mhm.
and then from 11 on is to the end, or the
Right.
beginning of the end to the end. But it takes a little effort on our part to
Yeah.
sit down, and you need a concordance, and then you're still going to go, I didn't
Mhm.
catch quite all of that,
All right.
but I hope I'm gone.
Yeah. Right.
I don't want some big meteor dropping on my head,
Wormwood,
yeah,
right?
wormwood, or
Well, it's like the parables. When I first started reading the Bible, I had no idea what the parables meant, and then the more I read, not just the parables, but everything else, the more they became clear, and I could understand exactly what they were talking
Yeah.
about. And now I know them. Somebody says, "Well, it's a parable," and I go, "Well, this is what this means," and I explain it, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think about it that way." Well, I didn't either until I started reading the Bible actually and learning.
and then make comparisons with other areas, other
Yeah.
scripture. God never does anything without telling his people
What he's going to
what
do,
he's going to do,
and he does.
and about when he's going to do it. Not exact, but
No,
but keeps
well,
keeps that carrot under kind of under your
Right.
nose.
and I'll tell you,
And I
you
need the
definitely,
carrot.
you definitely want the carrot more than you want the stick.
Absolutely.
I would rather have the carrot than the stick
Yeah.
because the stick is not fun. So, but anyways, we're getting up there, so I figure we should probably cut this short. Sfarza,
Yes, as far as
Love
Gladys, we love
Gladys.
you.
Fabian,
Fabian, love you.
all our family.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
if
Mike,
you watch our videos, your family.
yeah, yep. And Mickey, Mick, love you too, young lady. So until the next time around, y'all have a great day.
Yep, and we will see you in church.